The goalkeepers this afternoon, the freshman Aaliyah Hernandez was splitting time, but now the #1 starter for this Ohio State team. She had 9 saves versus Maryland. At the other end, Gianna Glatz, the sophomore. Goals against average, well, very small, .85, a save percentage that is sparkling as well. It's Rutgers at home, and they're wearing the black, and they possess early here. Shetler there with the early move forward. Redling, chauffeur, moves it around in the backfield. Chance for Ohio State to move it out of trouble, but it's recovered by Rutgers.
I think possession is going to be key for Ohio State. This is a team that didn't really possess the ball all that much against Maryland. And if you look at Rutgers, they have excellent ball distributors. You're seeing it on display. They move very well laterally, sideline to sideline. And they have a couple key players in the center of that midfield that really interchange well.
Redling, chauffeur, loses it. First time forward for the Buckeyes.
And I think this is what the Buckeyes do well. They're very good in transition. They can move the ball upfield very quickly. And I've seen some excellent goals coming from the Buckeyes when it's just coming from the field of play.
Jared Martin, in charge of this Ohio State program, his 2nd season, and a lot of people have been predicting that this team and program will continue to rack up more wins under his direction.
You know, just even talking with him on the phone earlier this week, Dan, there's a lot of, I think, coaching philosophy that resonates with me personally. This is a coach that has a lot of promise coming into this Buckeye program.
Ooh, and an early empty goal. Thank you very much, Ohio State taking advantage of the opportunity. It's Kelsey Nolan, and just takes a couple minutes for the Buckeyes to form their attack.
Seemed like a little bit of communication breakdown coming from the goalkeeper and the defenders in front of her. Did see a couple of players go down to the turf, but again, Ohio State can push that ball very quickly going into their offense and going into their attack. Great little deflection there. And then a couple of players get taken out. And that just leaves Kelsey Nolan completely wide open in front of the net. Smart possesses the ball, gets it to the back of the boards.
So a team that has been searching for more offense, they get an early break. 2nd goal of the season for Kelsey Nolan. Rutgers here. Shetler, one of their key players, spreads around this attack. Queno knows her way in the circle as well, and there she dislodges it. And there is the equalizer. One of their captains, Nikki Profita, and Rutgers has evened things up here. Back and forth they go.
Well, if you need a response as quickly as possible, I think that just about accomplishes it. Great possession coming out of the backfield, and this really started from the free hit coming from Van Schaik at about the 25-yard line. Cuneo doing a great job possessing the ball inside the circle, and then Profita just comes out of nowhere. Great offense coming from Rutgers, gets a good strike on the ball, catches Hernandez just a little off kilter, equalizes this game at 1.
It almost looked like Rutgers was a little angered by allowing that opening goal, and right away they have a response.
Well, as soon as the goal was scored, he saw Van Schaik pull the team together just outside the circle and giving some stern words.
Meredith Civico, 7th season at the helm of the Rutgers Scarlet Knights field hockey program. Kind of a disciple. Missy Merhag in Maryland, where she appeared in 3 Final Fours during her career as a player, the former Terrapin Meredith Civico. Covering possession in the midfield again, the Scarlet Knights darting forward. Esther Clotet back to help out defensively. Clotet, one of the key offensive players with 5 goals for Ohio State. So 2 goals in 33 seconds, off and running here from New Jersey.
first line of defense really starts with that press coming from Ohio State. Saw the game on Friday against Maryland, and this is a portion of their game that really started to come apart. Their press got broken really easily, so I think if you're going into today against Rutgers, you really have to have a focal point of maintaining your press.
The freshman loses it. It's Ohio State wearing white today. Player you're impressed with back there, number 13, Courtney Daniels.
Absolutely. From what I've seen so far, this is really a player who makes smart decisions. She has great composure coming out of the backfield, and I think that's probably the most important thing when you have a solid defender, because that instills trust with your teammates around you.
Nice to have that composure as well, as she's got some young defenders around her. Kelsey Nolan opens up the scoring for Ohio State. Profita with the equalizer for Rutgers here, still in the first 5 minutes.
Daphne Gruthouse does a great job with getting herself open for her teammates. She understands the space in the midfield very well. She can really cut a corner and get into that forward space.
Gruthouse number 9 for Rutgers, and talking to the coaching staff, they feel that teams are going to start keying on her.
Gracie, come on, Gracie!
Nice transition by Ohio State, but Goldine just unable to accept that pass. Knocked loose by Goldine, but recovered by Rutgers.
This is a small game that Meredith Civico was talking about on the conference call this week with Van Schaik. She can control portions of the field that are large or small. So I think that benefits her coming out of the center back, because there isn't a situation that she really can't get out of. She draws the foul really well, so she can move free hit to free hit, but just key on a number 13 and how she owns smaller sections of the field in that center back position.
Second consecutive year as a captain for Van Schaik. Here under duress, but supported by her teammates around the ball. Gruthouse draws a crowd along the near side. Gruthouse 5 goals on the year. Both teams have a pretty well-balanced attack, but Rutgers even more so, with 5 players with at least 3 goals. This will come out. Gracie Butsack, one of the goal scorers in the 5-1 victory for Rutgers over Michigan State this past Friday. Van Schaik, Galato, and Queno, and Santori also scoring.
Dominant performance from Rutgers. I mean, that's a game where they really took ownership very early in the game, and the offensive production was certainly on display.
So 3 straight losses for Ohio State. Still very early in conference play, but they're aided this afternoon by scoring the first goal of the game. For Rutgers, they've been dominating teams with a 7-1 record, outscoring the opposition 32-7, leading the nation with 5 shutouts.
Just great improvement from one season to the next. And since Rutgers has been in the Big Ten, this is a team that has improved not only every season, but really every game. Head coach Meredith Civico had a lot to say about the work that the team is putting in. Was on campus for majority of the spring, majority of the team was. So a lot of these players are buying into what Rutgers field hockey is all about in the conference.
Coach Civico wanted her team to concentrate on being more physical, especially early in conference play. That was an issue in their conference opening loss to Michigan.
And that's something that's really hard to adjust in the game. You know, that's certainly something that you learn as you progress through your college career. And it's also an identity you have as a team to be physically and mentally tough. But this is not an easy conference by any means. I mean, there are 9 schools in it, so you really have to go on the road and you have to tough it out.
7 of those 9 teams ranked here.
Just look how she commands the space and commands the ball so well. Van Schaik, just love to see what this player has done at Rutgers.
So much composure from number 13 for Rutgers. It's funny, we see 2 goals in 33 seconds, and now things have settled down a bit as they ease their way into this match. Esther Clotet. Missing the connection in the circle. A Rutgers player.
Carrie Burns just came in a little hard on this, and the ball was popped up. Maybe even got in contact from the shoulder. So you're just kind of attending to her right eye.
We go back and look at that player, Kara, that draws so much attention, Van Schaik, and showing that composure under pressure.
And I just think the center back position is a natural fit for her. She is a player that is very smart with understanding passing lanes and lines, but when she gets it, she can do something with it. I think she's just so much more dynamic in the back portion of the field.
Has that long reach, but a soft touch.
Makes it look easy.
Certainly not. Just 25 minutes to go in this first half. Temperatures expected in the high 60s in Piscataway, New Jersey this afternoon. Chance of rain. Kopech awaiting. Stay with the Buckeyes. And the off-ball movement was a big emphasis from head coach Jared Martin, wanting to see from his team today. And then at times, earlier this season, especially against Miami, they fouled a little too much, so looking for disciplined defending.
And I also love how he coined the collective defense and the collective offense. I don't think that's a term that you hear too often when you're talking about team play. That was really a big focal point and impression that I got from this year's team. You know, this is a team that fights for the ball. They fight for possession. They want to have forwards and midfielders coming back to earn the possession. And that's an identity as a team.
Sweeney, right in front, shoved in. Katie Pyle, and Ohio State has the lead again.
You know, for a team that's as stingy as Rutgers is on their defensive end, Ohio State's really starting to find some weaknesses here. This is a great circle penetration. Look at that off-ball movement. Player gets open right along the baseline. Easy entrance into the circle. No defenders stepping up coming from Rutgers. I'm seeing some communication breakdown coming from this defense, and Pyle just suited up right next to the stroke mark. That's an easy goal.
Juliana Sweeney, who was the setup player there. Pyle with her second of the season. And entering today's match, Rutgers had only allowed one first-half goal all season. They responded last time they conceded a goal, trying to do it again. Flung into the circle, and they do it again. Flying in there, it's Profita. She's got the double already.
Right place, right time, reads the play very well, able to find those deflections and loose balls inside the circle. think anytime in this conference, you can never let a lead get too far away from you. Ball kind of mishandled by Ohio State's defense there. Nice little entrance pass and completely unmarked Profita coming in and just beats Hernandez 1v1. Great finish.
It's just flying in there. So is this the way it's going to go all afternoon?
Capitalizing on those opportunities coming from fast breaks or just loose balls.
We've got 4 goals and we're still awaiting our first penalty corner. That reverse chip from Sammy Stone unsuccessful. That's the first Ohio State shot that hasn't been a goal, that reverse chip that we saw from Stone moments ago. So bright start for Ohio State, off to an 0-2 beginning in conference play.
And I think it's a little misleading. You know, if you actually dissect some of those games that they've had this season, the 2 conference games, you know, against Penn State, this was a team that was leading in the second half. A lot of action happened later in the game with under 15 minutes left that gave Penn State the lead. It's a 1-goal loss, it's on the road. And then you look at the game that they had against Maryland, that's also a 1-goal game. You know, this is a team that's right at the cusp of getting some conference wins.
Heightened expectations. Seems like they're just learning how to win here, this young team. Harris under duress. This is Galato trying to create something for Rutgers. Galato played in the back last year, number 23, but they wanted her physical presence closer to goal.
A lot of players on this roster for Rutgers are extremely versatile. Several players playing in different positions this season. I love the confidence and the courage to change the lineup. Cunha was playing in the backfield last year, number 30 in black. And I think even within that, when you have players on the field who are versatile, you know, that adds for a lot of creativity to generate attack and be good defenders. There are 3 players in the center of the midfield that basically interchangeable. I love that dynamic.
Sweeney there trying to ride the line and accept that pass. She was instrumental in that last Ohio State goal.
Good job by Ohio State on this press. They're really putting a lot of pressure in their attacking third of the field, coming away with some possession too.
They created that last goal from this right side.
I think one of the things that makes Esther Clotet such a good forward is just how she defends. You know, she's smart with her body. She puts great pressure on the backfield, really sets herself up to be a lethal attacker.
Spoken like a former defender, Kara.
I am not partial.
Got a good one going here early between Rutgers and Ohio State. If you're just joining us, Ohio State on the road wearing the white shirts.
Great pressure again coming from Ohio State, and you can tell where they're really placing that pressure is in the back left field, or the left back position of Rutgers.
Native of Munich, Germany, Elena Redling chauffeur helps advance it for Rutgers. Ohio State now will counter. Goldine picks her head up. Recovered by Rutgers. This is Carrie Burns. They've tried this long pass a few times. This time it gets through. Galato drives it into the circle Just wide of the target. Just under 18 minutes to go. It's Rutgers and Ohio State. So far, a seesaw battle. Nothing settled yet. Tied at 2. Well, the conference has been making headlines as they have some teams up there amongst the top 25, 7 to be exact, and Maryland just being Maryland, and Kara, a couple of stingy goalkeepers here early in conference play.
Love what the conference is showing in between the pipes. Leslie Spade at Iowa, first in the NCAA in her save percentage. See Gianna Glatz today. It's not typical that she gets scored on, but we've seen 2 goals scored against her today. And then you'll take a look to the Michigan-Maryland game, of course, is a matchup of last year's NCAA semifinals, game which Maryland won and ended up in the finals against UConn.
It was 1-1 for a while, but you see late, Maryland on top by 1. Here deadlocked at 2 with 17.5 minutes remaining in the opening half.
Really enjoy what the coaches around the conference have to say about the competition this year in the conference, and I think the deciding factor is that it's pretty much wide open. You never know what you're going to expect from game to game within the conference. Saw some great games this weekend so far. Michigan with a big win against Penn State, 1-0, and then Northwestern really handled Iowa 2-0. That game was on Friday. Be excited to see how this conference season will shake down.
Ohio State looking to create some danger into the circle. And the first penalty corner of this game goes to Ohio State.
Ohio State had no offensive corners against Maryland on Friday. Big focal point for this team coming into this game is to earn those corners. Not a lot of stoppage of play, though. You know, this game has been very active, a lot of action happening in between the 25s.
Knock on wood, we haven't seen a video review yet as well. Just so far, a lot of goals. Look for the sweeping ability of Esther Clotet here. Number 18 for Ohio State, potentially. The low shot, searching for the rebound and an opening. Defended well by Rutgers. It was Glatz with the initial save, and now on the counter looking for more.
Look at Ohio State get back on defense. That's hustle.
Hannah Panny there in the midst of things there defending. Just needing a little break. Out, out, out was the message for Ohio State.
He's talking her through. He's saying play it on to her.
Look at that penalty corner.
Well run. Casey Cole stops it, traps it, gets it inside the circle, and gets that shot off very, very quickly. Just a little bit of a mistrap coming from Clotet at the top of the circle, which gives Rutgers the counterattack. But Ohio State just hustled to get back on defense. That's collective defense. That's what Jared Martin was talking about earlier this week, and you can see that.
Kicked away there by Hernandez. Penalty corner upcoming. Gianna Glatz for Rutgers. It's Leah Hernandez guarding the Ohio State goal this afternoon. Profita, number 10, has both Rutgers goals so far. Van Schaik will insert. And that's hammered wide. Queno behind that try.
Ohio State does a great job of scouting opponents' offensive corners. See the 3 trails lined up on the left side. Have seen different looks coming from this defense just on Friday. In fact, they had 3 players on the right side. So certainly putting in their due diligence on the scouting reports.
You surprised we haven't seen more penalty corners at this point of the game?
You know, from what I've seen for these two teams, it's a lot of live play. It's a lot of action coming from transition game, counterattack, so not incredibly so.
Kopak leads the charge down the near side for Ohio State. Schwinn trying to meander her way into the circle.
Great touch.
Pressure coming. It's Kopak again. Perimeter of the circle.
I think Rutgers needs to do a better job with stepping up on that first line of defense sooner. See that touch. Nice little give and go action. Passing is on point for Ohio State and Emma Goldine.
Kara, fitness is big for all teams playing the sport of field hockey, but especially the way Rutgers plays, it's imperative that they're fit and ready right from the get-go.
Absolutely, and that really just benefits you through the endurance of a conference season and just through the endurance of your normal season. I think the game has just gotten so much faster that the breed of athlete is a lot different than when I played. I mean, these players are, you know, they resemble more like soccer players when you actually look at their body type. Very even, not overbuilt in one area or the other, and they can just run for days. And Rutgers is a team that they don't sub much. They don't have many rotating players coming in. So, these players really have to endure through the entire contest.
It's funny you say that. You hear that weekly from coaches. They always have 2 or 3 players they'll describe as they can run for days. It becomes more commonplace. It's the final. Maryland defeats Michigan 2-1.
Good job, Katie. 2 balls, Emma.
Yeah, that's a Maryland team that certainly has national title hopes. Team got very close last year, falling to UConn, who ended their season undefeated. But from what I've seen from the Terps so far, I mean, not only are they talented, they're just battle ready. High energy, fast pace, good defense, fantastic offense. I mean, they have a lot of things working for them.
Coach who's won a few games before.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of experience. And it also just speaks to the talent of this conference. Just flashing back to last year's NCAA tournament, 4 Big Ten teams getting into the 19-team field, and of course 2 getting to the final 4 teams. That's great.
So Ohio State looking for a late goal. Sammy Stone on the perimeter, defending Van Schaik for Rutgers.
Ohio State's had great success with getting into the circle just along the baseline. They're using that small field very well to their benefit.
Redling chauffeur losing it. Stay with Ohio State. Esther Clotet. Jonovich on the outside. Pyle, one of the goal scorers there, number 24. They were shut out Friday by Maryland. Maryland has done that to a lot of teams, but an encouraging offensive start for Ohio State here, generating 2 goals in the opening half. Problem is, goals have followed goals this afternoon.
I'm part Italian, so it comes up on
Nikki Santor there. Number 20 picked up her first goal of the season.
This is a great characteristic of Rutgers. They have a lot of trust in each other and their teammates, and they're not afraid to pass the ball back. Reset the attack by building it from the backfield, and puts them in a great situation to get some quality offensive opportunities, including this one in earning a corner.
Their second corner of this game.
If you want to see somebody really strike the ball, pay attention number 30 for Rutgers, Cuneo. Her head coach, Meredith Civico, said that she has the hardest shot in NCAA hockey.
And they sneak one in off the penalty corner. It appeared to be Groothouse, and Rutgers has the lead late in the opening half.
You know, Groothouse almost looked surprised. That ball was a little off speed, had a bit of a bounce on it, and those are tricky balls to stop if you're in the cage for the Buckeyes. Great insert coming from Van Schaik, direct shot, and bounces just directly over the stick. Great timing coming from the stick stopper and the hitter. See some diving effort coming from her teammates too to try to get a deflection on it.
She had 2 assists Friday versus Michigan State, but here gets the strike off the penalty corner, her 6th of the season. Her team leading 6th goal of the season. Sweeney, the short pass for Schwinn. Was looking there for Pyle, but it's recovered by Rutgers.
Rutgers has a lot of confidence in their offensive corners too. Big win earlier this season against Princeton. That was the highest ranked win Rutgers has ever had, but the only goal in the game came off of a corner. So I'd say you have some luck and success.
Kelsey Nolan rumbling forward into the circle, but there's Van Schaik to break things up.
You can see Rutgers defense just a little bit on their heels when Ohio State's possessing the ball in the offensive third, giving them a lot of time to create.
Van Schaik, 54 career points. Ohio State looking for the tying goal here with under 7 minutes to go in the half.
Great heads-up play coming from Clotet. Took that free hit quickly. Just as a reminder, have to clear that 5 yards if outside of the circle before it can enter the circle, or if the defense can make a play.
So second penalty corner in the afternoon for Ohio State. As you may have heard, the previous play is under review.
Call on the field is a corner. So this must be a team referral used by Rutgers.
First review of this match.
So I think the initial call was a foul against number 9 for Rutgers in black, and Groothouse, who's see a little bit of an retort, I guess, coming from Groothouse. Didn't see the ball hit any feet from the camera angle that we're seeing. Almost looks like it almost hit off the foot of Clotet.
Yeah.
And again, if there's a foul that occurred before the foul that caused the penalty corner, it will be overturned.
Clotet, number 18 in white there, was controlling the ball that appeared to hit her foot. It was interesting talking to the coaches. This is becoming more part of the game. What do you do during reviews? Oftentimes you see them giving information to the players, or sometimes just letting the players talk amongst themselves. And what does the ruling care?
This will be a free hit for the defense coming out. I think, you know, as we were evaluating initially, I think it did hit off the foot of number 18 in white, from my understanding at least. I think it was interesting what Meredith Civico had to say about the video review and the process, and how they pull in the coaches, the officials pull in the coaches to explain the call, when really the players are the ones on the field who asked for the video review. They need the explanation.
Her philosophy being it's a player's game. Sometimes let them sort things out. This is Pyle. Penalty corner on the way for Ohio State.
Great response from Ohio State. Again, getting back in the circle, earning another corner.
Jared Martin, he lost 10 seniors this past offseason as the big freshman class. They scored a couple goals last year off of the counter versus Rutgers. That's been a strength for Ohio State. Here it's a penalty corner late in the first half. Moving around a little bit, it was Whitney Harris taking that last shot.
A little slow to pull this off. Ball speed not that high, and what a great job by Rutgers on the defensive side of things. Alana Galato getting out very nicely on that fly position, and also covering a large amount of space in a short amount of time. He was able to stay in front of the play, stay involved in the play.
Third penalty corner in the afternoon for Ohio State. Glatz down to make the save, nosing around for a rebound there. In front was Schwinn.
Good job by the post player for Rutgers. Again, this corner defense looking really good right now for Rutgers. Staying composed, staying involved. Just a straight shot on net.
There was a little room under the pads there of Glatz. So now the fourth penalty corner on the way for Ohio State. Deflected wide off of Harris, trying to save it there. Good hustle by Esther Clotet.
Great deception coming from the top of the circle. Looking for that deflection right off the right post. Just a little bit of a mistrap and a miscue coming from Ohio State.
Piles had a nice first half, number 24 for Ohio State, besides that goal. Galato there. For a time, it was 1 against 3, and she helps Rutgers keep possession. Shetler. A lot of cover back for Ohio State, forcing it out. Sammy Stone. Stay with the Buckeyes. Nolan sees the space available near side. We'll stay with Pyle and Ohio State. Juliana Sweeney. Pyle in front of her. Perhaps trying to force that pass, and it's Rutgers on it again.
I think if Ohio State can just generate some speed with the ball and with the ball carriers, I think they can really start to dissect this Rutgers defense. Quick free hits are so beneficial for the attack. Also sensing a lot of urgency here for Ohio State. It's a big difference if you can go into half with the score all knotted up.
Kopak patiently to Sweeney.
quality possessions coming from Ohio State, too. You can really understand how well they're trying to take care of the ball and respect those possessions.
They've controlled a lot of the ball here in the late minutes of the half, Ohio State.
Yeah, you can really sense how much Rutgers is kind of sitting on their heels. They're getting pushed back and back and back, not stepping up as quickly right around the 25-yard line.
Step out. Step out.
This time of the game, Kara, is there oftentimes more emphasis on defending than attacking just to keep things safe and avoid those crushing momentum swinging goals late in the half?
Just play smart. Don't give away. Don't turn over the ball. Don't do risky passes. Really want to protect that lead that you have.
Move the ball, guys. Right, Jess.
Here a little more possession now from Rutgers. Cutting off that pass was Kopech. Under 20 seconds to go. Galato. Groothouse, one of the goal scorers for the Scarlet Knights. Nothing settled yet, but halfway home for Rutgers. Back and forth first half. They've got the slight advantage, 3-2 over Ohio State.
Just love the amount of scoring that we've seen so far in this game.
5 combined goals. It was Ohio State who opened up the scoring, but it was Rutgers that just kept answering back. It's nice to be joined by their head coach, Meredith Civico. And Meredith, from your perspective, what did you like from your team, and maybe what did you not like from the first 35 minutes?
I definitely like their response. I think answered back immediately. I don't love how we started. I think we're a bit flat, and we've just got to keep it a bit more simple. I think we need to make it easier for ourselves and just play 2-touch and move the ball quicker.
Coach, earlier this week you talked about this team being mentally and physically tough. When you evaluate how they've done today and entering the last half of this game, how important is that?
I think it's important. I think mentally, I think their response was excellent. I think, as soon as we conceded, we responded immediately. And we've got to stay focused on our hockey and what our strengths are this half.
Meredith, always a pleasure. Thanks so much for the insight.
Thank you.
Meredith Civico in charge of this Rutgers team right now. Their home fans having some fun. They lead 3-2 here at the break. Almost ready for the start of our second half. Jared Martin, the second-year head coach for Ohio State, is kind enough to join us. And Jared, from your team's perspective, what did you like from the first 35 minutes?
I thought we held the ball pretty well. I liked what we were doing with the possession. We're moving it well, getting the ball speed up. I thought we generated some good attack. So we got to make sure we keep that going the second half.
How would you assess the team defense?
Team defense, I feel like for the most part has been good. I just told them we're coming up with positionally good double teams, but Rutgers is finding a way to get out of it. So we just got to go a little tougher. And then in our defensive 25, they haven't got in there a whole lot, but we're having just some simple skill errors. So we just got to stay focused, all right? Make some good decisions, be tough in there, come up with turnovers, and then we're going to be able to counter out of it.
Jared, as always, thanks for the time. Good luck the rest of the way.
Yeah, thank you.
Jared Martin in charge of those Ohio State Buckeyes, looking for a little better defensive play here in the second 35, but like that attack, especially early as they took advantage of a Rutgers team that was a little flat on their home field.
Yeah, and I think also if you're Ohio State, you want to step up to those corners and be able to convert. Plenty of opportunities for Ohio State. Certainly the score that you see, I think, on the scorebook doesn't really dictate how the trend of the game has gone. Ohio State has really come alive in the second part of that half, especially with their possession game. I love the quality opportunities that they're getting on the offensive end. Doing a great job with handling the ball.
Closer.
Both teams have been very strong in the second half this year. Ohio State outscoring opponents 17-6. Rutgers similar numbers, 18-5 in the second half. But Rutgers has been dominating teams all game, so that's might even be more impressive for Ohio State, their efficiency attacking in the second.
Great transfer of the ball. Ohio State received the ball just at that 25-yard line. Being able to get to some open space and see that circle more clearly.
So look at Esther Clotet. On the move, there's Casey Cole. Goldine behind the ball for the Buckeyes. Galato had it. More remain with the Scarlet Knights.
Good support defense coming from Rutgers. Communication on point.
Emma Goldine reversing there. Esther Clotet backing her up. There's Kelsey Nolan.
I think Ohio State's also doing a great job with evaluating the options once they receive the ball. As soon as they trap it, their head is up, they're looking to see the field, they're looking to find their teammates. See Carrie Burns, number 16, in that backfield for Rutgers. She's a player that works really well in the center of the midfield with Van Schaik. A lot of these players that you see out of the backfield and the midfield for Rutgers could join the attack.
Here's Ohio State, Stone into the circle. Penalty corner appears to be on the way.
Hard foul coming in from Carrie Burns for Rutgers. Great counterattack here. Look at how well Ohio State is able to have spacing around the ball and in front of the ball. See Jared Martin not very happy with the explanation coming from the officials. indicate to me that the corner on the field will be overturned.
Ruling it's not intentional. So not a stroke, but a penalty corner.
So of course, with the intent to foul, that's a little bit more major of a penalty. It would be a penalty stroke for Ohio State instead. But yeah, they're setting themselves up for a good position to come away with the equalizing goal here on a corner.
Sammy Stone, the inserter. Ohio State looking for the tying goal. There on the follow-through. Foiled the first time, and Goldine also able to get a second try.
Again, Galato was so dynamic on the corner fly position. You see how she can cover that short option pass. And that's basically a reaction in the moment or in the play. You are in the understanding that you can cover a certain amount of ground. You're getting communication from your defenders behind you, but Galato is able to break down her steps, cover that 2 to 3 yard option pass very well.
Stone there on the perimeter.
Set up! Come on, Lon!
Jenny, we get out of there.
Come on, Cunio. Shift, guys! Come on! Super tough, let's go! Good job!
Clotet unable to hold it. Now tries to get it back.
Well done, Daphne! Let's go, Roll! I'm on the line.
Encouraging words for Groothouse, one of the key players for the Scarlet Knights.
Great team defense coming from Rutgers too. You know, they're in great supporting positions.
On a show. Come on. Be mobile, guys. Come on, dude.
Switching fields with the long pass. Looking to connect there with Cassidy Shetler. First ever start as a midfielder versus Michigan State on Friday for Cassidy Shetler. She's got a variety of shots. She can shoot on the move, number 12 for the Scarlet Knights. So a goal-filled first half, a quiet beginning to the second. Press coming in there from Parks.
Especially along the sideline.
Inside. Good enough.
Why along the sideline? Because you can pin a player?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think ultimately speaking, you never want a team to be able to transfer the ball from sideline to sideline. That really prevents from that back option pass.
Shetler's pass is intercepted by Esther Clotet. But recaptured by Rutgers.
A lot more confident among their teammates to pass the ball, especially in the backfield for Rutgers.
A little pressure there going forward for the Buckeyes. Both teams turning the ball over in the midfield. Fresh legs back onto the field for Ohio State here. Another turnover. Nolan checking her options. Nolan hangs on to it. Will earn a penalty corner here.
Well, we saw what Nolan was able to do with the first goal of the game and how quickly she can get into space and find the space, but look at the ability to turn the corner here with speed. So explosive with the ball.
Balance just to stay on her feet there.
Can see Ohio State really getting, again, Rutgers on their heels. She was untouched, going all the way down to the baseline, doing good things for her team.
They're down to make the stack pad save, Glatz. It's Casey Cole with the try for Ohio State.
Glatz very active and athletic in the net. Looks like the ball was just a little on her back foot for Casey Cole. Didn't exactly get the best strike on it.
Might have took a deflection off of Galato as well there at the top of the circle. More shots this afternoon so far from Ohio State, one less goal. Rutgers trying to pad their lead.
Glatz also a player that has instilled a lot of confidence in her coaching staff and in her teammates. 5 shutouts on the season, proving herself and what she can do for her Rutgers team.
Participated in the USA Field Hockey U21 Junior National Training Camp in June. A couple of teammates, Cuneo, Galato, and Shetler as well. Daniels, the senior. Right up the middle is the route for Ohio State. Kelsey Nolan behind the ball. Schwinn looking to escape the defending.
It's an Ohio State team that's going to continue to learn a lot about themselves and their identity as the season goes on and even throughout the course of the game. And this is a team that is really evaluative of how to be successful. And these are important questions that the coaching staff asks the players and has conversations about this. You know, how do you be successful? What do you do daily to be successful? What does that mean? What does a champion look like? And just love the direction that Jared Martin is taking this Ohio State team. And also really the ownership of being an Ohio State student athlete is very important to this program.
There's one of his bigger personalities, Emma Goldine, number 8. Very athletic, a soccer background, has a good game sense out there as well. And last Friday, he loved her confidence facing Maryland, facing some of the top players. And she's like, yeah, I got this, no problem. Not being overconfident, but confident in her abilities.
Both of these teams do share a lot of the same recruiting grounds. If you look up and down the rosters, there are a lot of these kids from New Jersey, Virginia, a lot of the East Coast.
Kara Lentz, I'm Dan Kelly, our BTN crew. Glad you could check out a little Big Ten field hockey this afternoon. More of it on the way, 3 Eastern this Friday. Iowa will meet Michigan State. Be an Ohio State ball. There you see Kopak getting subbed out. Goldine will knock it back. Kara, what's been the difference? 5 combined goals in the opening half, and now the goals have gone silent.
I think it's just a battle of possession at this point. Ohio State certainly has had those opportunities when they're setting up on their offensive corners, but really not able to convert.
Six corners for the Buckeyes, 2 for Rutgers. Now over 20 minutes without a shot for Rutgers. Groothouse's goal was their last shot, but it just takes one. And they do have the lead. Burns makes the turn. Quickly meets pressure as she enters the circle. Shoved away by Nolan.
Great ball movement coming from Rutgers. Started in the backfield with Van Schaik. Carrie Burns is a player that can continue to reinvent herself on the field, continue to recreate. She reads the ball very well. She understands where the open space is. Just excellent players Rutgers has that possess the ball.
Burns loses it. Ohio State, they can sting you on the counter. Kelsey Nolan will push it out wide. Stone back for Nolan.
It's all Kelsey Nolan. She just covered the whole field after getting the steal. Work rate is very high.
Not even out of breath. And from outside the circle, Sweeney is thwarted. Pushing forward there is Jonovich. Groothouse looking for a quieter space to possess.
I think Rutgers is really holding their shape well when breaking the ball out.
There's Kelsey Nolan. Problem is Van Schaik there defending for Rutgers.
Harry and Molina, when you can, switch. Harry and Molina.
Finally breathing a little hard there, Kelsey Nolan. She's been active. There's Redling Schofer. She's made an immediate impact as a freshman. Native of Munich, Germany.
Abby, let's go.
Rutgers off to their best start since 2008 with a 7-1 record. Ohio State looking for a confidence-building result as they've fallen in 3 straight. Trasco waiting in the circle, never gets through. Daniels swings it out wide for Harris. Just off the stick of Katie Pyle and out. One of the first half goal scorers.
Not only good passing, but really good receiving coming from Ohio State in their offensive third.
Start to hear more communication as we creep to the more important moments of the match with things winding down here under 18 minutes to go. Trying to avoid those turnovers that can hurt you. Scrambling forward, Sammy Stone runs into some congestion.
It's one of the better plays with Ohio State is how quickly they can get on that counter. They're very quick over the free hit. See Van Schaik going over to the official. Take a look back at that corner call. You see Rutgers turn around and kind of look in confusion, but I believe there's an obstruction call against the defense. I didn't see any feet.
7 corners generated by Ohio State so far. The goal from their coaching staff was to generate 4 or 5.
Let's go, Rut!
Need to convert on them. You know, they've had plenty of these opportunities, but this is a time in the season where you have to be able to convert on majority of them.
Ready?
Stone inserting. Shot never gets through. It was Goldine who launched it.
I think Rutgers corners defense is fantastic.
We'll take another look at that corner defense. Just over 16 minutes to go in the second half. It remains 3-2 advantage for Rutgers. 2 goals from Nikki Profita leading the way right now for Rutgers.
Coming from live play and live action, getting inside the circle nicely. That first goal just gets a shot off very quickly, and then this player just really love how Gracie Butsack is able to create inside the circle. Profita just comes streaming in from outside the circle. Is able to find the back of the boards.
Just 1 career goal entering today. So a career afternoon so far, especially if her team can deliver a win. This is Courtney Daniels. Head up all the way.
You can see how defensive Rutgers is being, really marking tightly, minding those passing lanes. They're going to let Daniels in the backfield handle the ball as long as it just doesn't get through their defense. Definitely protecting the lead.
Will Rutgers still hunt for that 4th goal, the 2-goal lead? Or are they more concerned about defending at this point, Kara?
Well, from what I see them being a little bit more defensive, but of course, as you know, you want to get up as much as you can. So certainly looking for the offensive opportunities. What's really important is not having those risky turnovers or bad decision making.
Ohio State 2 goals on 11 shots today. Meanwhile, Rutgers 3 goals on just 4 shots.
A game that's really been played in between the 25s, a lot of midfield action.
Abby, watch her!
Looking to shirk loose there is Galato.
Abby, come on!
Focal point for Ohio State in the second half defensively. We heard from Jared Martin, just making good decisions inside that 25.
Up, come on, Cass! Good, Cassidy!
Pressure from Shetler.
Up, give it! Move the ball!
She creates the turnover there. But right back to Ohio State.
Risky pass. Exactly what I'm talking about. Don't want to have those turnovers when you're possessing it. Just do the simple, do the easy. Ohio State's going to need to be a little bit more aggressive on their press.
Roothouse. Casey Cole there. It's the 2 number 9s clashing.
Again, just have to take care of the ball and not have those turnovers. Rutgers is just going to fall away on this press. They're hanging out at about the 50-yard line, sliding very well from side to side. Ohio State really hasn't been able to penetrate or find those long balls. I would like to see Daniels become a little bit more attacking. I would love to see her get the green light to really join the attack, draw the defense. You know, that's something that you see with Rutgers on the opposite end when you have players like Gruthouse and Van Schaik and Burns in the center of the backfield and midfield. They have so many players that can create forward movement, that can create and join the attack.
Traska turns it upfield. Goldine trying to save it.
That's really where Ohio State's been successful, are those circle penetrations right along the baseline. They're finding that centering pass really easily, especially when we saw in the first 10 minutes of the first half. It's been a physical match out here today.
It's Gruthouse down for Rutgers. Nice to see her back up quickly. Center of your screen.
Deflection on this stick, and the angle on it just gives it a little bit of height and knocks her in the head. You know, I always remind people that this is a physical sport, but also, you know, you're dealing with a lot of different elements. You have the sticks, the balls, and the bodies for potential danger.
Cuneo back on for Rutgers.
Nikki, keep showing.
Penzone there applying the press.
Love the two-touch passing also coming from Rutgers. Moving the ball quickly, that gets the press and the opposing team to open up a little bit so you can start to really dissect those passing lanes. Again, Ohio State needs to step up on that press. They have to become more aggressive and physical on that press.
Little energy here. Casey Cole tries to lay it out wide, but anticipated, but recovered by Ohio State.
I think the energy level for both teams has been really consistently high throughout the course of this game.
Esther Clotet.
I think she's constantly looking for somebody around her, looking for the 2v1s, trying to find those mismatches.
All the goal scoring has occurred in that first half. Shutout hockey here in the second.
Great reach by Cuneo. This is a player who played in the backfield last year. It's on the forward line, but again, speaking to the versatility of the players for Rutgers, can really switch it up.
Nice break there, popping free for Parks. Under 11 minutes to go in regulation. There's Cuneo, a solid performance so far. Esther Clotet helps secure possession here for Ohio State. Cole inching in closer. Perimeter of the circle there. It's taken back over by the Scarlet Knights.
It's going to be hard to enter the circle from the top of it. Rutgers really packing it into the center of their defense. Credit to them, though. Ohio State really hasn't been able to possess the ball much inside their offensive third around the circle.
Traska. Minor soccer next, Indiana at Iowa. Here in New Jersey, Ohio State would love to send this one to overtime. Can you get a stick on it there in front with Schwinn?
Clotet getting a lot of contact coming from that Rutgers defense.
Looking for deflection now, trying to make the turn. Penalty corner for Ohio State. It was Schwinn in the circle doing the work.
That was excellent ball movement coming from Ohio State. We're able to pull the defense apart and find that open passing lane going inside the circle. And look at the diving effort coming from the Buckeyes. Great passing. You see how Rutgers is now sliding, and some of those passing lanes are obviously open. Ohio State being patient with the ball.
They need to connect on a penalty corner, their 8th try today.
I think if you have a flyer who's as dynamic as Galato for Rutgers, the option pass at the top of the circle is certainly on, but I think you have to cover a greater distance in order to really stretch the defense and pull her over.
Clotet, the drive, stopped in front by Glatz. Picking up the pieces here, Esther Clotet again.
You can certainly see why a player such as Glatz instills a lot of confidence in her coaching staff and in her teammates. Just a simple sweep coming from the top, and you see Glatz understanding that there was a tipper going in directly behind her. Sammy Stone trying to sneak it in. It's a great stop by her stick. See the officials talking with the Rutgers defense. Call on the field is a corner. I believe this will go to a video review.
Glatz there, a little conversation with one of her key players, Van Schaik.
So they're looking to see whether the ball or the infraction was off of a stick or off of a foot. The call on the field is a corner. We talk about a momentum swing. The call is in fact overturned on the field. That's a lost opportunity for Ohio State. It's one of the reasons why this video referral process is so big too. You know, it can really shift a game in a very short amount of time.
Coaches universally seen their favorite aspect of it is it usually gets things right.
So it's a clean save coming off the initial hit on the corner. And you see the corner call right there. The official motions to his feet, indicating the foot infraction, but it didn't look like it hit her foot. Additionally, she's outside the circle.
Initially she was in, but it looks like she kind of danced her way around it.
Burns really going for all ball there too.
That little step seems to avoid contact.
It's a good call by Rutgers to have this go to a video review.
Third time video review has been implemented this afternoon. You got the equal bonus of more time to strategize. The defending unit and the attacking unit.
In Rutgers' game against Princeton, the corner that they scored on was after a very long video review process.
Well, she's got a minuscule goals against average of well under 1 goal a game. Gianna Glatz, the sophomore, she's been consistent and solid all season, and that trend has continued today.
5th in the nation in goals against average and 3rd in save percentage. Mention how she gives her teammates and coaching staff a tremendous amount of confidence, but she's very athletic. She gets down to the turf well on those shots, and I thought that save was phenomenal. Gets her stick right there, has an understanding of what's going on around her, really how to limit the attack.
She's not the biggest of goalkeepers, but Hasn't stopped her from possessing dominating numbers this season, and she's been helped by her team. As now here comes the explanation.
So the video is inconclusive to overturn the call on the field. So Rutgers will retain their video referral. See some confusion and
disappointed faces.
Yeah. So the ruling on the field will stand as a corner.
So Carrie Burns and Rutgers getting ready to defend this penalty corner. 9th of the game for Ohio State.
It's a great step up by Burns. Came right to the top of the circle, came away with the ball cleanly.
Stone will bring it in. Courtney Daniels, the shot deflecting in, and Ohio State has tied it. Finally, they strike off a penalty corner.
And another video review. See, Carrie Burns immediately went to the official asking for the review. Of course, Rutgers is able to retain their video referral. So you see Burns motioning to the official, talking about the height of the ball. Initial shot did look like it was a bit high. Again, the initial shot coming off of a corner has to be 18 inches or below. If it's a deflection or a second pass or an option, can be any height, but that looks high to me.
Nice deflection in front by Sammy Stone. But it did look high there, off the stick.
So we're being told that it is an umpire referral on the field. Of course, the officials do have the ability to use a video review to check the legality of a goal. And I think if your player's on the field, I wouldn't even waste my video referral on goals, because I'm really leaving it up to the officials. If there's something in question, to take it upon themselves to check whether a goal is good or not. Of course, if it is ruled a non-goal, then it will be a free hit for the defense coming out for Rutgers.
Be so deflating for Ohio State. You can see the ecstasy enjoying their celebration, and
a sense of relief in a way too.
But that could quickly be reversed.
Right.
But a relief that they're starting to score some goals, especially as you mentioned off the penalty corner after they've amassed 9 this afternoon.
Glatt's really backing that corner defense that certainly been tested today.
So we watch this replay. Trying to interpret what Sammy Stone was mouthing there, but would have been saying, I didn't touch it.
Just basically trying to evaluate if it was deflected off of the initial shot. At that point, it can be any height.
The goal stands.
Round thing.
So a tied game now here. Stone, the tying goal for Ohio State.
Great read by Stone too, being able to react right in front of the net. Just get a little touch on it. Ohio State strong second half.
In the first half, when this occurred, Rutgers responded.
Well, as we've seen throughout the course of this game, for every goal, there's a reaction. So a lot of goals on the board today.
Van Schaik, the defending for Rutgers here late. Gruthouse gives her a passing target. Pyle and Ohio State applying the press now at Sammy Stone. Ohio State looking to end a 3-game slide, also searching for their first conference win of the season.
Great patience coming from Gruthouse, just directly behind your outside midfielder. Puts her stick on the ground. Some very level-headed play coming from Rutgers on the defensive end. This is a really important time in the game for Ohio State, too. If you just look at a much broader landscape or perception of what the team is trying to accomplish, Jared Martin in his second season, and these are questions they ask themselves, is how do you win? How do you close it? How do you close out games? Not only have they come from behind, but at this point, this is a strong point in how Ohio State really is going to continue to go through the rest of the season. This is a big test for them.
Started to show signs Friday, limiting Maryland to 1 goal, a team that averages 4 goals a game, but goal scoring has been the issue. But they were the ones that scored first, and they've scored 3 against a team in Rutgers that is in the midst of their best start since 2008. This is Sammy Stone.
Yeah, if you're the defense too for Rutgers, we've seen Burns come in a little aggressive on the defense. You have to not foul, because that puts Ohio State just back up at that corner opportunity.
That goal has been credited now to Courtney Daniels, the tying goal from Ohio State, not Sammy Stone. Soccer's next, Indiana at Iowa. Maybe some extra field hockey on the way as well. Looking for the deflection in the circle. Under 4 minutes left in regulation. There's Panny. Nolan's pass is gobbled up by Rutgers. Helping recover things on the wing, Casey Cole. Cole again there. And come out Rutgers' way.
Been really impressed with Casey Cole throughout the course of this game. Saw her there just take that 1v1, cut off the defender by just simply going in front of them, taking away their line to the ball. She's really been hustling throughout the course of the game.
Everyone trying to avoid that critical late mistake. Van Schaik back for Rutgers. Perfect pass delivered there to Redling Schofer. Butsack looking for some teammates in the circle. Safely away by Ohio State. Penzone leading the charge. Panny usually wears number 25, but she had blood on her shirt, so she switched to number 30. They're going down to ground, Nikki Traska.
Good double team coming from Rutgers too, just containing along the sideline.
A lot of possession for Ohio State here in the second half. They're well anticipated by Galato to break things up. Unable to push on to Groothouse. Esther Clotet. Saw Traska in front. Also in the circle there was Penzone.
A turnover coming from Daniels in the backfield, just trying to bite a little too hard. Had an easier pass at her outside defender.
Down to the final minute of regulation.
Good ball movement for Rutgers, just trying to get Ohio State to shift. Also sensing the urgency from Marina Civico.
Ooh, there was Galato looking for an opening. Cuneo, half a minute to go. Rolls it into the circle, doesn't get through to the keeper. Burns.
What a great shot coming from Groothouse. Little off balance, but still is able to get something on net.
We got a video review well before that ball will enter the goal.
So I think they're looking for, Rutgers is looking for a foul that happened inside the circle. It was a no call from my understanding. Both teams playing with such high energy, enthusiasm. We've seen it all on display today. This is the entrance pass, and looks like it actually got deflected off of Casey Cole's foot. So it was a play-on situation, no call on the field. Rutgers is asking for the foul that happened inside the circle. The best way you can tell as to whether the ball hit the foot is just the misdirection, or excuse me, redirection of the ball after it went underneath Ohio State's defender.
So does it go off the foot there of Casey Cole?
It almost looks like it went off her stick, on, if we can slow it down to this speed. Left foot?
Certainly think it's the left foot they're looking to see.
Right.
You see a little coaching during the downtime from the support staff for the Scarlet Knight players. They get involved in the conversation as well. It's not just directed from the coaching staff. The other end, there's Jared Martin in his Ohio State huddle.
I think it's important just to keep your team loose. You know, not to get overly stressed or built up, but just to keep your team relaxed and loose.
Trying to keep those energy levels up high here, especially with the possibility of overtime.
If Rutgers doesn't score off their corner, of course, right?
There's still waiting for a ruling. It appears that a decision is on the way. And another inconclusive ruling, it appears.
Huge momentum shift for Rutgers. Looks like it's going to be, I believe, a free hit for Ohio State coming out. 8 seconds left on the clock and no possession. This will be hard for Rutgers.
Around, get outside, get outside.
Panny.
Yes, yes. Come on, guys.
This is going to be settled in overtime. 70 minutes complete. Deadlocked at 3. Ohio State gets the lone goal there in the second half as they try to end their little minor tailspin. When we come back, we'll have extra field hockey between the Buckeyes and Scarlet Knights. This is how the goal scoring started. It was Kelsey Nolan for Ohio State.
Goal scoring started early, and it started often for both teams. Kelsey Nolan completely unmarked, and a little confusion coming from the defense, I think, initially for Rutgers, but Nikki Perfida responds for Rutgers, I think within about a minute. Be the storyline of the first half, and Ohio State's second goal. Pyle knocks it home back at the boards, and Rutgers just trying to figure out their defense and organize well. Perfida again coming in strong into the circle, converts for her team. And then Groothouse, initial hit from the top of the circle on the corner. Gave Rutgers a 1-goal lead, but video reviews and stoppage of play. And finally, Ohio State able to convert on the quarter. 9 corners in this game for Ohio State and 14 shots.
Ready for the start of overtime. Looking at the goal scorers, Perfida with the double for Rutgers. We check out the overtime rules, and these have been altered recently, Kara.
Yeah, originally was a 15-minute overtime stanza, now has been cut down to 2 10-minute periods. And then, of course, if it's tied after the end of those double overtimes, it will go to a shootout.
Ohio State has a little more experience in overtime this year, 1-1 record. They've got their victory over Louisville. Esther Clotet with the game-winning goal. They lost to Maine. For Rutgers, this is their first overtime game this year. If you're just joining us, Ohio State wearing the white shirts.
I think if you take players off the field and open up the space for this field, I think Ohio State has a little bit of an advantage, mainly because of the way they're able to possess the ball. And their passing and receiving has really been tight.
And one of their best performances of the season has to be confidence building. Facing a Rutgers team that is 7-1 and in the midst of their best start since 2008, this could be the type of victory that might change their season.
Yeah, and I think also if you just look at what's happened this weekend, they're on the road, they go to Maryland, only lost by a goal, and it's a quick turnaround heading out to Rutgers. So you're right, Dan, it's a defining moment for the Buckeyes.
Panny. Here's Daniels. Now Daniels will sneak the pass through to Esther Clotet. Well defended by Rutgers as they take back over.
Yeah, Groothouse is hard to beat. Discipline not only in the offensive side of things.
Racing the other way, here's Carrie Burns, just out of her range.
It's a benefit for Rutgers that they have so many players on the field that are versatile, because a player like Carrie Burns, who we've seen in the backfield throughout the whole course of the game, almost with a breakaway. It's a team that's really comfortable with putting Different players in different positions, just with the ability to create.
So far, more possession from Ohio State in this overtime session. Esther Clotet picks up her head, sees who's in front. Navigating there is Schwinn. Some options in the circle. Kelsey Nolan is there, and instead it's Shetler pushing it out for Rutgers.
Correction by Rutgers compared to the first half, where that centering pass right to the stroke mark was open. Rutgers now minding that space a lot better.
Nolan. Burns there, the defending for Rutgers. A reminder, soccer next. It's currently on BTN to go, Indiana at Iowa. A little women's soccer action here after some field hockey. Just back and forth patiently. It's Clotet the other way.
This is a player that's going to get a lot of attention throughout the course of the season. If you're a defense, you want to make sure that you're honing in to number 18 in white. Haven't seen her do a lot, but I think that's because she's just getting immediate pressure on the defensive side of things.
Daniels again, Esther Clotet.
Off-ball movement is going to be key if they want to get inside that circle.
There's Schwinn testing things as it's recovered by Clotet. Pass takes a deflection. Cole looking for the opening. Can't find it, but Ohio State finds a penalty corner.
I think we're seeing hustle all over the field today from both teams. Clotet did a great job with getting it near the circle. And then corner called on the field. I believe it was the backside of a Rutgers defender's stick. This is a huge test for Ohio State. Can't talk enough, though, about this Rutgers corners defense. See Gianna Glatz right now in between the pipes talking with her teammates. I think she just instills a tremendous amount of confidence, especially on this defensive unit.
Here's the penalty corner. Straight away, Glatz makes the save look easy. It was Cole taking the shot.
She has been tested all day long, and she is really keeping her team in this. What a great save, and then also Burns right there to collect the free ball.
There's Van Schaik, the reverse chip. Kicked away by Hernandez. Butsack here off the bench. Defending for Ohio State, Kelsey Nolan. Van Schaik. Groothouse in the circle. No one scores, another 10-minute overtime session. And then the possibility of penalty strokes. Rutgers, 3 goals on 6 shots. Groothouse, Redling chauffeur. Van Schaik will swing wide. Daniels away for Ohio State. With some speed, Kelsey Nolan.
1v1 just based on foot speed. Nolan definitely has the advantage.
Casey Cole inching her way towards the circle.
So I believe the call on the field was a free hit outside the circle. Of course, if the foul happens inside the circle, it would result in a corner. You can start to hear some talk and chatter on the sideline asking if the foul happened inside or outside of the circle.
It's under review.
And Rutgers using their video referral on this. It's right on the line. Her foot is inside the circle. I think completely.
And the line's part of the circle, right?
Correct.
It's about the 7th or 8th video review we've seen this afternoon, especially here in the second half of the game.
It's also important to know that what the officials are reviewing is not the same footage that we see on the screen. We're getting some great looks today on our video referral process, though.
And that's a good thing because you see how close these calls are.
Right. You know, I'm also curious when the Rutgers defender goes in for the tackle. Almost looks like it hits the backside of her stick too, but I'm sure that's not what they're looking at. So it will be a corner for Ohio State. After the video review, they determined that the foul did happen inside the circle. Again, Casey Cole just doing so much for her team.
Now trying to win it off a penalty corner. Kelsey Nolan will insert. Cole, Daniels, and Clotet all hovering that circle.
And keep your eye on number 9 in white.
That being Casey Cole here in the 11th corner for Ohio State, trying to end their 3-game losing streak here in overtime. Clotet, shot doesn't get through. But another penalty corner.
Ball travels a long distance to get across the circle. 1v1, trying to set up with Clotet. Burns does a great job with just staying steady, staying composed. Take a look where the infraction was that caused the second corner.
Let's go, Rutgers!
Here's another try. Diving save by Glatz. On the rebound, kicked away by Glatz as well. Ohio State scrambling. Glatz takes the initiative. Esther Clotet.
Wow. Phenomenal performance coming from Gianna Glatz. All over the place.
Inspiring her team. 90 seconds left in this first overtime session. Casey Cole. Unable to move that into the circle.
Defense has been tested throughout the course of the day for Rutgers. Glatz not only making the saves on the turf, but stays involved with the play. She doesn't get beat.
Redling chauffeur, the freshman on the takeaway, and now starts the counter. Press coming from Schwinn again. The calm, cool Gianna Glatz, the sophomore, defending that Rutgers goal. 30 seconds left. Cuneo forced back. So looks like we'll continue on here into the second overtime session. It remains 3-3 Ohio State and Rutgers.
Glatch is keeping her team in this game. Ohio State has had 12 corners and 20 shots after 80 minutes of play.
I mean, look at some of those saves, some of her best work from overtime.
And goalkeepers are really put on display on corners in overtime because there are only 3 defenders for the defense. So you have to play bigger and you have to play smarter. Glatch, just look how involved she is. She gets down, she gets back up. She gets down, she gets back up. It's just so active. This corner defense definitely has a lot of confidence. They have a lot of momentum. That's really a strong point for Rutgers. And as they carry out the rest of their conference season, this will certainly be a unit of their team that they have a lot of pride in.
I liked at the end there, she was almost losing her patience, knowing her team needed some relief from that pressure, and Gianna Glatz taking the initiative there, now able to even flash a brief smile here in the midst of overtime.
I think these teams have really tested each other. I've really seen it all today. People diving on the turf, close calls, non-calls, overturned calls. I think they're really giving their all.
Reminder, Indiana, Iowa, women's soccer upcoming next on BTN. Available now on BTN to go. Glatz, 9 saves this afternoon. That ties a career high. And she's made them at key moments of the match. Do you think we have a goal left, or is it going to go to strokes, Kara, the way this thing is trending?
I mean, Ohio State's really knocking on the door.
You think Rutgers, because of the way the game has gone, they're a little more fatigued at this point?
You know, I don't notice either team actually being that tired. I don't notice fatigue when I see the players out in the field.
Leah Hernandez. Had 9 saves versus Maryland. A little less busy today in a longer game. And off we go, the final 10 minutes of sudden death overtime. Break that initial press, but just couldn't keep it there. Redling chauffeur. Redling chauffeur. Cool little pivot. Cuneo. Van Schaik draws some attention.
Really likes to execute to the outsides of the circle, not necessarily from the top. I think she'd be a lot more dynamic if she could get those circle penetrations towards the higher part of the circle. Great defense. Disciplined.
It's Redling-Schofer. She's had a solid afternoon, the freshman. Pushed forward by Casey Cole. Esther Clotet directing, now receiving. Ooh, and threads that pass almost through to Kelsey Nolan.
And I just love how as soon as she saw it, she was going to give it. Had great vision, seeing upfield what just went down right the belly of the field. It's a great pass.
Kelsey Nolan would like a do-over. Groothouse. Pass is gobbled up by Kelsey Nolan. She's taken down.
I think Groothouse is probably one of the more fit players that I've seen across the country, playing in that mid center back position. She really just seems to be anywhere and everywhere on the field. Incredibly fit.
Here's Daniels.
It's important not to only stretch the width of the field in overtime, but also the length of the field. So what you may only be seeing with the ball movement, but it's important those high forwards are stretching the length of the field. And as we saw, Nolan putting herself in a position where he can just receive it inside the circle.
We have a sub if you need.
Too long, stalling there, and it's Rutgers exploiting it here on the counter. They'll turn it over in the midfield.
Go, Kelsey, go!
Using the width of the field, here's Schwinn. Unable to make the cut.
I think Groothouse can just do it on both ends of the field.
Van Schaik. Van Schaik guides it down the near side. Redling-Schofer. Penalty corner here in overtime.
I feel like Redling-Schofer has really been exposed in this overtime. Her possession skills are great. And Groothouse getting down to the baseline to get open, force that corner. You know, Hernandez really hasn't been tested in the second half, so she's certainly not as warmed up as Glatz in between the pipes. Mentioned that Maryland game. 7 saves in just the second half.
Slick little moves, looking for an opening, and there is Hernandez. Gone cold for a while, but able to make the save when they needed her.
I think Cuneo had that open shot a lot sooner. I'm not sure why she just tried to close the space. She really lost time. Opposite calls coming from the officials. Some confusion.
Heard it was obstruction was one of the calls. Cuneo off the restart. Van Schaik will take from Groothouse.
Groothouse and Van Schaik switching positions. Groothouse can get a little bit of a breather, but that's one advantage with the versatile players on the field.
Redling-Schofer into the circle.
Rutgers doing a great job with drawing those corners. Anytime they're inside the circle, they're really looking to draw that foul.
Galato here behind the ball for Rutgers. Off the foot there of Esther Clotet.
Galato's really good in tight spaces, especially inside the circle. I have also seen her on the defensive corner unit, holding strong as that flyer.
Van Schaik will insert here for the penalty corner. Low drive off the pad there of Hernandez. Safely pushed out of the circle by Ohio State with under 3 minutes to go. Cole is slowed up by the pressure. Gruthaus to Van Schaik. Van Schaik, the low shot, not much force behind it, and gathered in by the Buckeyes.
Surprised she didn't try to place a shot on net on that reverse.
Now the game for the Scarlet, number 16, Harry Burns. Now the game for the Buckeyes, number 22, Kelsey Nolan.
Got time and space, Ford. Time and space. Walk it up.
No pressure coming, so Daniels takes her time. Esther Clotet will lift it back into play. Sammy Stone racing after it, just watched out. Gianna Glatz. Substitutions continue here in overtime. If no goals scored in the next 90 seconds, penalty strokes are upcoming. Cuneo. Burns will keep it out wide. Dragging it forward there is Galato. Double team on Galato.
Good defense by Ohio State, having that double team just outside of the circle. See Rutgers really possess a lot of confidence and composure here in this overtime. Their possession game has been a lot different than it was in the second half.
40 seconds left in overtime. Schwinn, nice pass through traffic to Kelsey Nolan. With Esther Clotet, but it never materialized.
Just need a little bit more of an angle on that forward pass up to Clotet.
Redling chauffeur. Final rush forward. Van Schaik. And penalty strokes it's going to come to between Rutgers and Ohio State. A marathon battle, end of 2 overtimes. It's still 3-3, Ohio State and Rutgers.
Well, I think if you look to the shootout, if you have a goalkeeper like Gianna Glatz, I think probably favored toward Rutgers.
And the freshman keeper, Aaliyah Hernandez, going up against her, Gianna Glotz, the sophomore. They're excited about her potential at Ohio State, Aaliyah Hernandez, and now is the time to showcase some of that. Ohio State will go first. Moving in, Traska. Glatz, the save, but on the follow through, it's Traska.
This 1v1 shootout format really gives a better chance for the goalkeeper to make a save and come up on the winning end of these. When it was just strokes, much more of an advantage given to the stroke taker.
Van Schaik will go for Rutgers. Here in on Hernandez. Oh, Van Schaik, that was pretty. And Rutgers, like they've done all afternoon, they respond after an Ohio State strike.
So what's really fun, I think, about these shootouts is that you see different skills being used. And I think that's one of the things when you practice throughout the course of the week or throughout the course of the season, you find which skill works best in these formats. You probably have about 3 different moves that you want to use.
Here's Schwinn. What move will she use? She finds a little space there on Gianna Glatz, and Ohio State's 2 for 2.
Simple, really simple. You know, this is an opportunity for the ball carrier to read and react to the goalkeeper and what they're giving you or not.
Gruthaus strikes as well. So still looking for our first save.
Just basically backs in and takes away vision from Hernandez.
Esther Clotet now, 3rd shooter for Ohio State. Clotet rattles the back of the cage as well.
Glatz is just so quick in net, though. I mean, the way that she's able to cover from post to post, stays in it, stays in front of the ball, gets down, gets back up. I mean, you still have to give a lot of credit to the athleticism of these goalkeepers, especially Glatz.
The pain of pinging the post.
That's got to sting a little bit. Has her beat basically on the outside, but ball not on the goal cage.
It was Burns, now Ohio State. Taking the initiative there, Gianna Glatz with the stop.
Foul called on the attacker, obstruction. Great job by Glatz, yeah.
Here's the freshman Redling chauffeur. The quickness, the reach, the freshman delivers.
Takes Hernandez all the way to the opposite post and then goes to the next side.
Kelsey Nolan's turn. Nolan finds the back of the cage as well.
I think if you have speed, this is really your advantage, is taking the goalkeeper all the way across the side of the net. Notice how she dragged Glatz to one side and then quickly dribbled it to another. It's effective.
Cuneo. Couple of dinks into the empty goal for Austin Cuneo.
tremendous stick skill coming from Cunha. Really saw that on the offensive corners for Rutgers in overtime. Great player coming out of Eastern High School in New Jersey. I guess these teams just can't make up their mind, huh?
Yeah, each team with one miss. It's going to be Van Schaik. Enon Hernandez. Missing the shot on the follow through. Hernandez takes care of it.
Always play to the buzzer. Great stop by Hernandez. Ohio State's comes away with a goal on this. That's the game decider. Miscue. Didn't strike the ball.
So now a big opportunity. Kelsey Nolan, Ohio State trying to pull off the upset. Nolan dancing in, back of the goal. Ohio State wins it. Or have they?
Ohio State goal scored by number 22, Kelsey Nolan.
Kelsey Nolan gets the goal. And a little confusion as we take another look at the finish.
Looks like the officials are actually going to go review this goal at the video monitor.
You saw the hesitation in the celebration right away from Ohio State.
Kelsey Nolan using the same skill set on that penalty stroke, but instead just gets the ball in the air a little bit. And if you're Glatz, you have to know that move is coming, but Kelsey Nolan just read her really well.
Victory, Ohio State.
It's a great way to get your first conference win, especially on the road. It's big for Ohio State. A lot of defining moments throughout the course of the game.
Yep, that's the type of victory that can turn your season around. They knock off the Rutgers Scarlet Knights in shocking fashion and penalty strokes. Once again, the final score, Ohio State 4, Rutgers 3.